I'm sorry there is a change. I would now like to request Dr. Avinash sir, Head of the Department of Public Health Dentistry, KIDS, to please address the gathering.
Good afternoon,
Sir, please.
everybody. Jagajyoti Pati sir, our administrator, Dr. Balaji Manohar sir, faculties of my department, Dr. Denzi, our guest speaker, keynote speaker for the day. Welcome. All the faculties, my postgraduates, my colleagues, senior faculties, and the students of kids. It is indeed a great moment for the public health dentist to celebrate the National Public Health Dentist Day, which is a very, which is a very good thing we have to celebrate on a national level. We just started this a couple of years back to celebrate the National Public Health Dentist Day, and we are proud to be a public health dentist. So today, on this occasion, we have had several programs. We had programs on art of giving. That is, we did some programs wherein we distributed sanitizers, health education. We imparted health education and basic etiquettes on social distancing and SOPs on COVID times to Zomato workers and other public in the vicinity of the college. Also on this occasion, we have made a small video on the journey of public health department in kids, our department, as well as a small mimicry video for this occasion. And we have a wonderful speaker for the day who will tell us about what are the options, scope post MDS in public health dentistry. A public health dentist, as a public health dentist, what we can do to the society, in what way we can give back to the society, and what are the scopes other than teaching, what we can do as a public health dentist. So I welcome Dr. Tenzi again for this as a keynote speaker. So with this, I would not take much time and hope you have a wonderful lecture. Over to you, Deep.
Sir, I think Principal Sir is here, sir. So would like Principal Sir to address the meeting. Sir, kindly, sir, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Dr. Avinash. Good afternoon, all the faculty members, and especially warm welcome to Dr. Denzi, who is here amongst us. It's very nice and heartening to see the Public Health Dentistry Day being celebrated today all over the country, and various colleges are conducting programs. We are no less. We are also having our own set of programs which are going on. I have been associated with this association very closely since 2006. I remember, though even today the association is not a very big one, but way back in 2006, I had the opportunity to be associated with the organizing team of the 10th annual conference of the IAPHD. And believe me, that time the total number of participants who came for this 10th conference at Udaipur was 182 only. So we had a very wonderful time, and I have very close friends in the public health dentistry field also, some of my classmates and others as well. It's very heartening to see that the presence of the association is building day by day, and I'm told that this is one of the largest organized association in the world. So hearty congratulations for that, and I will not take much time with you all. I believe the public health is the backbone of any dental college. Programs they conduct, and being in the forefront to the patient management and the comprehensive dental care which we give.
तुम रिलैक्स करके वहां
So
बैठो
I
काम करो
wish all the people, all the public health dentists over here a very happy day to be celebrated. And Dr. Denzi, thank you very much for having taken time out and come here to inspire all the participants who are here to have or to see what are the opportunities for a public health dentist after they finish their post-graduation. So thank you very much, Dr. Kunal, Dr. Avinash, Dr. Gunjan. Thank you very much. Dr. Vinay also must be there. Thank you very much. And I hope your program goes on very well. My regards to all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Avinash, sir. Thank you, Principal, sir, for your kind on the next part of the program. I would now like to request Dr. Yagesini ma'am, second year postgraduate trainee, Department of Public Health Dentistry, KIDS, to please take over.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. The field of community dentistry or public health dentistry has tremendous and leading contributions in eradicating the various hurdles that are faced in progressive and comprehensive oral health care in the community taken as a whole. With this fact in mind, as a postgraduate trainee in this department, myself, Dr. Yagesini, on the occasion of 6th National Public Dentistry Day, would like to take you through a brief journey of public health dentistry in India. In India, dental public health is nearly 60 years old and since have gained popularity in the nooks and corners of the country. Uncountable achievements and heights had been reached since respected Dr. Mohan Das Bhatt, originally an orthodontist, pursued masters in the dental public health in the US and eventually introduced the stream of public health dentistry in Indian dental education system in the year 1970. It was started as an experimental course under his guidance in the esteemed Government Dental College of Bangalore with just a mobile dental van and an ultimate motto of taking dentistry to the people. The field of dental public health has seen great improvements since the Indian Association of Public Health Dentistry was founded in the year 1993, presided by the now President Emeritus, Dr. R.K. Bali. Since then, from just 24 members, it has come to have more than 1,600 members nationwide. Starting from 1994, 25 national conferences and 23 postgraduate conventions have been observed successfully all over India under the banner of IA-PhD. The Department of Public Health Dentistry has a holistic approach. It not only focuses on curative procedures, but preventive procedures too, along with particular emphasis on the good oral health promotion. A Department of Public Health Dentistry in any institution acts as a flag bearer of the institution and plays a major role in the promotion of the institution in the society. Earlier being studied combined with the periodontics and periodontics, it has gained recognition as a separate specialty among the 9 dental departments. Also, unlike earlier times, in case of examiners for postgraduate exams, MDS in public health dentistry degree is now a must. Nevertheless, it has been made mandatory by the DCI to have a 3-month-long posting of the dental interns in the department. Most extensive among all the other departments, it is to better the skills of screening, preventing, and curing dental diseases while being in the peripheral postings, satellite centers, and the outreach programs. This is the only branch in dentistry which has a social component. It targets the underprivileged, the hard to reach, and the special groups of the society and render oral care to all, disregarding social inequalities and iniquities. Looking at the recent numbers for the students pursuing a master's in this department, only a total of 185 seats are available among more than 5,000 postgraduate seats all over India. While the numbers are only 3.18% of the total seats, it is to be noted that they are increasing gradually as more number of colleges are becoming aware of its diverse future implications and all over community health effect. Today, it is more than appropriate to discard the popular belief that camps are the only activities associated with the Department of Public Health Dentistry, but take it as a core to all dentistry. It deals with a variety of streams such as qualitative and quantitative researches or evidence-based dentistry, biostatistics, oral health policy formulations, bioinformatics, e-dentistry, developing newer ways of improving preventive and treatment measures in the most cost-effective ways, and catering to the oral health needs and the oral health promotion of one and all in the society. Moreover, tobacco counseling centers are a mandatory protocol in all institutions all over India, where public health dentists, along with the Department of Oral Medicine, serves as a duty to curb tobacco addiction and minimize the high records of oral cancer in the country. To conclude, I would emphasize on the fact that there is a lot of scope in this field, and postgraduates have been working as professors, researchers, scientific advisors, eminent policymakers, NGO workers, tobacco cessation counselors in prime institutes like AIMS, ICMR, and in various respected positions in the state and the central government, along with various top dental colleges and pharmaceutical and biotechnological companies in India and worldwide. The scope of this subject not only limits to India, but it is one of the most sought after profession in the foreign countries too. All of the above reasons make a public health dentist as precious as any other, and also makes the field of public health dentistry dynamic, ever evolving, progressive, and full of potentials. Thank you.
Thank you, Sini ma'am, for such an informative session. Moving on next, we now have a video representing the journey of the Department of Public Health Dentistry. That was a wonderful video. Thank you, Department of Public Health Dentistry, for putting up this. And now we have come to a very interesting segment of the program, that is a puppet show. This will be performed by Shayandeep Sengupta, member of QAB, a final year UG student. Shayandeep, please. And the video will be an awareness for COVID-19 and oral health.
जीने नहीं देंगे मुझे, जीने मुझे देंगे नहीं। भाई भाई भाई, पहला बात तो ये गाना तू गलत गा रहा है। जाने नहीं देंगे तुझे, जाने तुझे देंगे नहीं। और इतना डिप्रेसिंग गाना क्यों गा रहा है अभी? अरे यार, ये डिप्रेसिंग गाना गाऊंगा नहीं तो तू गाएगा क्यों? ऐसा क्या हुआ तेरे साथ? यार मैं कोरोना पॉजिटिव हो गया ना। क्या? अरे पहले नहीं बोलेगा तू? एक सेकंड यार, पहले नहीं बोलेगा तू? मैं मास्क पहन के आता, मास्क पहन के आना चाहिए था तेरे को। अरे मेरे को कैसे पता होगा? और ये हुआ कैसे? ये सब कोरोना पॉजिटिव ये सब चक्कर कैसे हुआ तेरा? अरे यार क्या बोलूं? हाँ बोल, वही बोल। अरे उस दिन मम्मी ने मेरे को भेजा बाजार में धनिया लाने, और मैं मास्क लाना भूल गया जल्दबाजी में। यू नो आई एम सो फॉरगॉटेबल। अरे अंग्रेजी मत बोल इसके बीच, पहले बोल क्या हुआ था? हाँ तो मैं मास्क लाना भूल गया एंड कोरोना कॉट मी। अबे फिर से अंग्रेजी। अरे ये मास्क भूल के तू कैसे जा सकते यार? ये ठीक नहीं है। यस आई नो बट क्या करूं? और ये भी बात है ना कि मैं सो फॉरगॉटेबल हूं। फिर से एक बात मत बोलो। और ये तेरा टंग में क्या हुआ दिखा? अरे मेरे को दिखा। यार ये क्या हुआ? तू बोल, तू तो डेंटिस्ट है, पढ़ाई करता नहीं। अरे भाई मुंह खोल, फिर से मुंह खोल। यार ये तो कैंडिडियासिस है, फंगल इन्फेक्शन हो गया तेरे को। खाना वाना ठीक से नहीं खा रहा है। अरे यार क्या करूं? टेस्ट नहीं मिल रहा है ना, टेस्ट नहीं आ रहा है, कैसे खाओ खाना वाना? अरे ऐसे बोल के नहीं चलेगा भाई, तेरे को ठीक से खाना पड़ेगा, प्रॉपर न्यूट्रिशन लेना पड़ेगा, तब ना ये सब चीज ठीक होगा। और ये सब को क्या बोलते हैं? ये सबको अपॉर्चुनिस्टिक इन्फेक्शन बोलते हैं, ठीक है? ये सब क्या होता है ना, जब तू न्यूट्रिशन प्रॉपर नहीं ले रहा है, जब तू खाना ठीक से नहीं खा रहा है, तेरा इम्यूनिटी लो हो जा रहा है, तब ये सब होता है। जैसे अभी म्यूकोरमाइकोसिस भी हो रहा है इसी वजह से। और तेरे को इसीलिए ठीक से खाना पड़ेगा, दवाई खाना पड़ेगा। ये भाई मैं मर तो नहीं जाऊंगा ना? अरे नहीं यार, ऐसे कैसे मर जाएगा तू? हाँ, ऐसे नहीं होता है। खाना वाना ठीक से खा, दवाई ठीक से ले, ठीक हो जाएगा। और हम सब है ना तेरे लिए, प्रे कर रहे हैं। तो अच्छा ऐसा क्या? हाँ हम सब प्रे कर रहे हैं, हम प्रे कर रहे हैं, जो लोग तेरे को देख रहा है वो भी प्रे कर रहा है। अच्छा ऐसा क्या? आप लोग भी प्रे कर रहे हो मेरे लिए? थैंक यू, आई लव यू सो मच। और हाँ, मेरी तरह ये गलती मत करना, ठीक है? मास्क पहन के बाहर निकलना, हो सके तो बाहर कम निकलना, लेकिन अगर निकलना हो तो जरूर मास्क पहन के निकलना, हैंड सैनिटाइजर यूज करना और सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग बरकरार रखना। यू नो, दवाई भी और कड़ाई भी। यस गाइस, प्लीज स्टे सेफ, स्टे एट होम। थैंक यू।
That was a mind-blowing performance, Shayandeep. I hope our audience. So moving on next, a visionary initiative that was led by a founder, Dr. Uttananda Samanta sir, in the year 2000. KIDS, under the guidance of Pathi sir and Principal sir, has been following his footsteps, reproducing his deeds to help out those who in need. This morning, on the occasion of National Public Health Dentistry Day, the Department of Public Health Dentistry, KIDS, have reached out to the people of Adruta Children Home, a Choti Si Asha Foundation, and to the Zomato and Swiggy delivery partners. They always bring smile to our faces, so it was our turn to reciprocate them. They provided them with oral hygiene kits, masks, and sanitizers. Presently, we are going to witness a few glimpses of this selfless, generous act. Moving on to the next part. Now, I would like to request our guest of honor, the keynote speaker, Dr. Denzel Lawrence, lecturer, Department of Public Health Dentistry, Bapuji Dental College and Hospital, Davangir, to please address the webinar and enlighten us. Sir, please.
All right. Good afternoon to everyone who's assembled here. First and foremost, thank you so much for so much of love and affection, everyone from the management and the head of department, faculty, everyone, and all the wonderful students of KALINGA Institute of Dental Sciences for having invited me to address the gathering today on a very special occasion, which is, I would say, if I were to borrow Avinash sir's words, close to our heart. Because today happens to be the National Public Health Dentistry Day. So today, the June 19th, signifies that a lot of efforts being done across the country to collaborate and work together towards actually taking care of the community oral health in our country. Now, first things first, I think after having seen such wonderful activities, I must give out a big shout out to everybody there at kids who've actually made this so vibrant, and I can actually see community work in action. So I'm really thankful to Dr. Avinash sir, who's been heading the department there, and also to all the amazing teachers and students who are actually making a little bit of their efforts in bringing together a larger and a common shared vision. So with that, a little bit of background, I think if we're good to go, I think we can start this session. Okay, can I share my screen now? Can just ask the moderator.
Yes,
okay.
Please.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, are you able to see my screen, sir?
We are able to see.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm told that the bunch of students here and have come on a Saturday afternoon, I think would be a mix of all undergraduates and postgraduates. This would be slightly more broader based in terms of opportunities. Before I get to the specific opportunities, I think let's get a few things very, very straight here. Now, the specialty of public health dentistry, right? I think everybody agrees to the fact that there is none like it. Of course, there would be opinions saying that ऐसा क्या है जो आप लोग करते हैं जो हम लोग नहीं करते हैं. तो commonly ये सब चीजें होती रहती है. So they do think of it. Now, I think the first thing fed to any student in their third BDS or when they introduce to the specialty is that now you are about to read something or to learn something where you are dealing with the entire community. Okay, now these words will keep on coming across in the subsequent slides as well, but the practice which serves the community as a patient rather than the individual alone. Now, this statement in itself does not mean that we undermine the importance of individuals' health and oral health needs, but we are viewing the cumulative oral disease burden, okay, in the country and globally across, where there is a multitude of services which are required. Okay. Now, if you look at the whole structure of syllabus and the way the chapters have been designed, काफी सारे स्टूडेंट्स को लगता होगा कि जो कहीं फिट नहीं हुआ वो पब्लिक हेल्थ डेंटिस्ट्री में फिट हो जाता है. So that in itself is a very unique distinction that a specialty has, that acha ye bhi le lo, wo bhi le lo, and everything. But along with great power comes great responsibility, right? So when you're talking about what can you do with this elementary knowledge or primitive knowledge in public health dentistry, starting from third BDS to final year to internship and eventually even post-graduation in the field. All right, so let's appreciate the beauty of it, and what better day than today to actually look in that direction, that all those little words that you're seeing there, right, the word cloud, be it from policies to community and practice management. Okay, essentially speaking, public health dentistry is a group of a lot of disciplines which are required to be worked in the proper direction. Okay, so there is none like it. So when you look at that whole idea, to begin with, we are quite distinct. Okay, Now, the way it is practiced, okay, how many of us are doing it right? Okay. Now, there are two important things here: getting things done or doing it in the right manner. Okay. I think this is where most of us falter, and I would, probably say that the way we are doing it, or probably not giving emphasis to actually practicing the discipline rather than getting it done. So that's probably gives out a confused message to what we are capable of. Okay, after equipping ourselves with a postgraduate degree, or accordingly, when you go in going forth. So we need to look back and see some introspection there, and then try to get to the crux of it. Now, like they say, any of your opportunities, okay, let me just make this clear that training in public health dentistry, okay, whatever sessions you attend, whatever classes you attend from your third year BDS, where you just enter into clinics until internship, okay, that itself equips you with a lot of competencies which most of us are not aware of. Okay, now when I talk about this word competency, okay, now this is something which is more sort of what in the corporate world, or we look at it in terms of HR skills. Okay, now when you receive training in dental public health or public health dentistry, okay, there is usually a mixed bag of what has been taught to you, which is the knowledge which is gained, okay, what you are able to do and perform independently, that is the skill training. Okay, now whatever exercises are there for us, that involves around skill training. So whatever we listen to, read, and everything is acquisition of knowledge, which is just 1/3 of your competency. Most of them think that I am, having trained in this, I know this subject, so I can practice it. Let me just tell you that there is a lot of, paradigm shift in what you actually know and what you actually can perform. Okay, and a lot of your opportunities, be it in India or abroad or any of place for that matter, especially because you come from a dental public health background, and I will include the undergraduates and postgraduates together. Okay, it revolves around three things. Okay, three essential things is what is the need, okay, what are the uses, and what are the implications. So when you gain a significant amount of knowledge, let's say you read epidemiology or biostatistics, or even something related to social sciences and dentistry, you are acquiring knowledge. Now you have certain training, like for example, we just saw there's so many plethora of activities you're being made to do, from skits to role plays, and a lot of posters and IEC material, and even use of multimedia for communication. That is the acquisition of skill. Okay, remember that you are honing a very significant part of a skill set, which is the need of our 21st century. And eventually, as a result of knowledge and skill, results in an ability to perform something for which you will be hired, for which you will be taken into a certain job portfolio. Okay, now let's understand. Okay, now any kind of job description, okay, any kind of a skill set, okay, is usually mentioned, that they will say the first thing in any interview or any kind of hiring agency, that why I need to hire you. Okay, if you're not able to earmark the basic reason that why you are better than the rest of the applicants, or what are your superior qualities, or where you think you're better off, you essentially won't be able to beat for it. So work on our competencies, and that's exactly what you actually do it. Now, these competencies for public health dentists, right? What we have. I just like to give a couple of words and take about 10 minutes to tell that please realize what you are trained for and what you need to work upon eventually to create a job opportunity. Okay. Now, gone are the days where you would get an MDS degree and you'd walk in and then get a fancy job. Okay, that doesn't exist. Okay, I have never seen something like that. And I am also, you can say, fortunately or unfortunately, belong to a generation where we don't have things laid down for us. Okay, so it all boils down to competency. So tomorrow, even if an institute is hiring you, okay, even for a teaching job, or they call it a teaching job, but apparently all the other things include as well, it's all about your core competencies, that what you're actually required for. Okay, now public health dentists or any undergraduate student who's got a capability. For example, if you want to apply for a health informatics job, okay, there's a lot of healthcare management and sector companies which are hiring people with a BDS degree, who are looking for data analysts, or it could be surveillance officers, or many kind of quote unquote health related desk jobs. Okay, you need to have the ability to manage. Now, you could be recruited in any of the national health programs which are generally given out either by the government of India or state governments, or standalone programs. Now, what is your skill set here is never try to manage people. Okay, if you are living in that bubble that you will learn to manage. It's a commonly quoted, or a misquoted word. They say that you can manage people. Nobody can manage, more than one person, that is yourself. What you could do is inclusiveness, which is to be required. So if you are able to work on skills where you can put people together, assign tasks and relegate and make sure the job is done, that is what is required to manage oral health programs. So tomorrow, if you see an advertisement, or if you see for a walk-in interview, either under the tuberculosis project or for the cancer control project or anything of that sort, even the fluorosis mitigation project, you need to understand that your ability to manage people has to be displayed there. Okay, so any kind of oral health programs, ability to manage is ability to relegate the duties and function accordingly. Now, next important aspect which you need to ingrain in yourself, okay, and this is not even postgraduate level, okay, this is something which you have to look inward and check that whether you are able to assess and evaluate, okay, because let's understand, evaluate becomes very important because whatever gets measured eventually gets produced, okay. That's the reason why you must be able to evaluate. So there are a lot of jobs related to the healthcare management sector where they tell you to assess and they tell you to evaluate. Okay, they put you in terms of a program officer and they require these kind of skill sets. So evaluation systems of healthcare which impact oral health is also an important criteria. Third important criteria is your ability to demonstrate. Okay, now demonstration here means that you should be able to bring about ethical decision making, because here you are targeting the whole community. Okay, they become an entire population, so you're trying to serve the community. So you must know with a multiple requirement of services that what you have a right to do and what is exactly right to do. Okay, so the difference between these things, the distinction which is demonstrated by ethics, right? Remember that little chapter of ethics where you mug up all these 4-5 principles, right? You need to demonstrate this. Okay, so when I say demonstrate, that means display it and make sure it runs in your practice. Now, designing systems, okay, across the world, you will notice, right, that there are surveillance systems, and something like COVID, which has hit the world for the last year, and all of us are railing under that. They are looking for people where you are able to design surveillance systems. Okay. Now, I don't mean to say that you need to have the skills of an engineer or someone who's able to bring about a system. Okay. But understand that without data, you're just another person with an opinion. So everything has to be backed. So there's a lot of information related sectors and data analytic jobs which are available, which are essentially to teach you, all how you build upon the surveillance systems of even measuring the oral health status of a certain part of the country, or even when you go into the World Health Organization, this is what they look for. Okay. See, the reason why I'm telling you all these things is you need to know your employment viability based on what you're looking for and what they actually are desiring for. Okay, if you don't know these things, you will not know where to work upon. Okay, you'll not even know how basically do I write a CV. Okay, now the idea of making a CV with your name, address, publications, a number of conferences, nobody wants to hear this, man. Everybody knows that if you're a postgraduate or if you're an undergraduate from a certain university, they know that you've received the basic training. Okay, but it's industry driven. And when I say industry driven, the public health industry or the dental public health industry looks specifically that, okay, whether you are good with data sets, okay, whether you're good with managing, numbers and data entries and, analysis and all these things. So that is how you need to highlight these relevant aspects and go on and demonstrate that we're able to design it. Finally, communication, right? Communication, like they say, everyone can talk, right? But only a few can communicate. Now, when I say this, there's a lot of noise, a lot of people saying, and why should you be hired? Okay, let's look at a very relatable example of being a YouTube content creator. Okay, now we look at the channels which are very high on views and subscriptions. Their ability to communicate simple, okay, oral and public health issues in a very lucid manner, in a very concise and a comprehensive manner. Okay. So if you work on your communication skills, you could be a communication expert for oral and public health issues. And let me tell you that there are sectors in the environment today who actually hire people with good communication skills. Okay, and like I told you, I will be telling you things which are of use. Okay, this is not a theory class. This is not to make definitions, classifications. No, this is the real world. This is real dentistry, and this is how dental public health is the future of it. So if you have the ability to talk, okay, if you have the ability to communicate, obviously you're putting forth your proposition or your resolution. Okay, so whatever medium you choose to, okay, even if it's making a little Instagram reel for 15 seconds, or it could be a Facebook post, or it could be a YouTube tutorial, right? So ability to communicate can actually get you hired, and this is very important because I know a lot of couples, to my own students, who are just probably completed internship and who are into content generation today. Okay, they get hired only because of their communication skills. Okay, and again, some people are good with verbal communication, some with written. As long as you're able to communicate the core aspect. Okay, so all those little activities, what you do, right? For example, you give a health talk in a class or in a community, to a school and to a college student, university students. Your ability to actually ensure transient flow of information, okay, from the speaker to the audience in a clear and a crystal manner. That's what is I mean by communication expert. Ability to lead. Okay. Now, most of us, most of the postgraduates here, I think, would relate to this whole idea that you get appointed as a camp leader, right? Now, the duty of a camp leader is to manage everything. Okay. Now, that's a very dangerous word when the head of the department says that, sab manage kar lo, right? What do you mean by manage kar lo? Now, there are a lot of things, right, which have to be orchestrated and anchored. Okay. Now, leading doesn't mean that you are ahead of someone, okay, and people are following you. That's not the whole purpose of leadership. Now, ability to lead is you're able to foster collaborations, okay, between oral and public health issues. For example, this issue of COVID pandemic, what everybody is facing right now, and the world is reeling under that, the ability to collaborate. Okay, there are a lot of patients which is post-COVID complications, okay, like which was mentioned by that puppet show right now, fungal infections or mucormycosis, all of these things. Now, you as a dentist, as a dental student, must be able to link, your oral conditions and the public health issue at large. Okay, remember, okay, alone, whatever you do, you can only be smart. If you need that extra edge and extra bit of smartness, you want to actually achieve brilliance, that you need to able to collaborate in that particular direction. Okay, so these are all, all of these things, what I'm giving you out is looking back and then to find out. Okay, now advocacy or advocation. For most of the postgraduates of public health dentistry attending this and everything, right, this will probably be a seminar topic for you, advocacy and lobbying. But what do we actually mean by that? Okay, now, any kind of policy. Now, for example, you get hired as a short-term research project manager or an officer, or any of the state government funded projects, you walk in and then you're able to get that. You should be able to identify and create policies, legislations, and regulations. Okay, so you are deciding on behalf of someone what is good and what is right for them. I say you have to change what is into what it should actually be. Okay, so that's how the whole advocacy part goes in. And finally, ability to critique, appraising evidence to address the publications and the populations, that whatever is given to you, even there are jobs which are opened up in journals. Okay, they look for associate editors, they look for people who are reviewing, and they actually require student body members and representatives to do that. So your ability to critique is also important. And mind you, let me tell you, all of these things, right, whatever I've told you, right from the beginning, demonstration and leading and collaboration and all of this critique, all of these things are essentially trained to you by the public health dentistry department. Okay, if you actually look back on that, almost a significant amount of your undergraduate training goes behind training of these skills. It's just that we don't realize that what essentially forms us is what essentially takes us to where we are, okay, or where we would like to reach. Finally, you're able to conduct and to address all these problems. Okay, so when you look at all these things, integrating of social determinants and all of these things are basically what is built around your syllabus. Okay, these are the competencies, and let me tell you that each one of the points which are given out here, right, they are very important for you to build a career in that direction. Okay, so if I put all these, this is sort of like background information for you. Remember, look at the people you're actually become, all right? For a public health dentist or for a student with training in community oral health over the years, third year, final year internship, right? You have to restore in yourself a sense of idealism, okay? Remember, you're working for the greater good of the population, okay? So I would say that you need something like a Don Quixote kind of idealism, okay? A very popular, famous author of the Western world, who said that you need to center your principles under, idealism. Okay, and a very famous person known for his strategies. Okay, I would like to give a more closer example, example closer to home, like Chanakyagiri, or it could be Machiavelli's way of political strategy. Okay, at the same point of time, the reason why I put Robin Hood here, apart from it being one of my favorite comics, is the idea of redistributive justice. Okay, I think the whole idea of being the dabang among the dental public health, or the dental professionals, is to make sure that you redistribute justice, because in the end you have to serve a common good, which is the welfare of the society. And at the heart of it, the reason why I put up Einstein here is because he is a symbol of science. Okay, everything has to be backed by rational thinking, has to be logically presented, and has to be fundamentally scientific in nature. Okay, so if you put all these things, that brings us to the question that, do you have it in you? And I'm sure most of you all, right, all of you, you've been heard a lot of big words and everything, right? So all of you will be thinking that I might be having some of it, I might be having all of it. Okay, now what's important here is for you all to identify that what are all my qualities and how do I streamline, then tailor myself for specific kind of jobs which could be propagated in this direction. Okay, so quickly, I think I'd like to show a couple of more slide specific opportunities, and before that I want to have a small exercise here. I think we can use the chat box. So Avinash sir, I think if it's okay, you can have some.
Yeah, chat box.
Great, yeah, okay. Fine. So quickly, students, I think you saw a lot of qualities, right? It's like the ideal qualities which are everybody seeking for. Now, quickly, I want all of you students to give me one specific quality, okay, which is good, which you think you're good at. Okay, we're kind of doing a SWOT analysis, all right? But I also need you to give me your biggest weakness, okay, which you are not fairly good at. Now, don't think something which you're weak and don't say that, okay, biostatistics I'm not good at. Okay, it doesn't qualify like that. I need words which you think. For example, if somebody thinks you're good at leadership, if someone thinks they're good at writing, okay, communications, if someone thinks that they're good at, framing documents, all of these things, right? So quickly, I think all of you here, UGs, PGs, everyone, give me one strength and one weakness, and let's try to understand, okay, that where we are going. All right, so I'll give you 2 minutes time. So quickly use the chat box. Okay, I don't know most of y'all, so you don't have to be bothered. You don't have to be. Nobody's judging anyone here. But give us one strength and one weakness, related to dentistry and dental public health. Anything. Yeah, you can start, guys.
Don't hesitate. Come out openly and message in the chat box. Nobody is going to judge, like Sir said. Postgraduate should be more proactive.
Come on. I think it's just the hesitancy of if one of them start posting. Let me start with myself. Okay. Okay. So we already got an answer. Okay. Fine. Someone is told that they're good at making friends, but my demerit is I trust them very quickly. Okay. No, don't worry. This is sounding like corporate training, but let me tell you, this is the need of the hour. How do you get yourself placed? Because if you don't know yourself, you don't know where you're going to work. You don't know where you're going to apply. You're going to keep mindlessly going places, giving interviews, looking online for a lot of information, all of that. Okay. I would start with myself. Okay. Okay. That would be my response. Okay. I believe communication is my strength. Again, fear of the unknown, which is a common situation you encounter when you go out and work in new places, right? So there could be that. Okay. Okay. We have someone who said their strength is enthusiastic and analytical approaches. Okay. D-minute is leadership and communication skills. Okay, good. Someone has the strength is art. Fantastic. Okay. And the weakness is what other people think about me. I think that's a problem with 95% or 99% of our student community. I think, you know, log kya kahenge phenomenon, if that could be added in the syllabus, right? So let's just keep the log kya kahenge format for a separate consideration. All right. Come on, guys. I think quickly, just put in words. Just give me anything. Your strength, your weakness. You could be good at anything. All right. See, good communication and approach. Weakness is to judge human being. Okay. I'm going to tackle the issues quickly here. Quickly. After this, I need to show you the career opportunities for public health dentistry specifically as well. Okay. Okay, good. Making friends, communication. See, somehow I think communication isn't really a problem for many of them, but yes, some of them do. Okay. And if you notice this, right, most of the strengths of people and students, and generally when we look at our community of dental fraternity, people are fairly trained in leadership and management and time management and to skills and all of these things. Okay, a lot of your weaknesses lies in individual singular qualities. Okay, some of them would feel in that. Okay, so in fact, you going ahead and doing this, putting it in terms of an open audience in itself is a remarkable thing, right, which you could do. All right, so this is what we're actually looking for. Now, when you look at career opportunities, guys, we leave the chat box open. I think people can come back there and then we can do it. Okay, so just moving on to the career opportunities with what you do. Okay, first and foremost, like I said, okay, the good 15-20 minutes what I've spoken to you about looking inward, right? Looking at your core competencies. Okay, if you're a third year or final year or an intern, okay, especially if you've completed BDS, we're looking to apply for umpty number of jobs. What really happens is there is a plethora of opportunities. Okay, you're eligible. Okay, I'll use the word quote unquote eligible because as healthcare professionals, okay, you are eligible to apply for plenty of jobs after your BDS degree. Okay, but then you would have a lot of conflict that what do I do and how do I do? It's actually performing, you know, a self-evaluation, like a SWOT analysis, that what is your strength, your weakness, your opportunity, and your threat, right? Which we've just started now. I'm sure you will be taking back this home and doing this in detail, is to see that where you're customized and you're fitting into this job. Okay, now let me take public health dentistry because that is what we are trained in. Okay, once you notice, let's take an example of certain DBH programs. Okay, now these are dental programs, public health programs, which are seen in most of Europe. Okay, now how do you get into it? You just need a basic degree of dentistry. All right, or non-clinical science or social science subject. The reason they give you this diverse eligibility criteria is because they want you to assimilate yourself or articulate yourself for what you're about to go. Okay, for example, if you want to go and pursue, there's usually an amount of flexibility. That's why you have your PG diplomas, PG certificates, and all these things. So you can always go and do distance or part-time education and whatever programs are done, and the way you can eventually do. Okay, opportunities comes to applying your skills and knowledge to planning and delivering services in your own area. Okay, or dental public health examination for the Royal College of Surgeons. Okay, and just to give you one kind of this thing. Okay, now when you look at the program view, which is in Europe, right? After your BDS degree, you can go for 1 or 2 year programs. You can have a master's in dental public health, okay, which is an MSc. Again, there are dental public modules and all of these things. You go to Australia, you see that a lot of your population oral health units, okay, a lot of MPH jobs are there. And the reason why is that they have to feed the industry. Okay, now all of these require you to go through an interview process. Okay, this is where whatever I've told you actually matters. Okay, if you're able to list out 3 and 4 things which you are fairly good at, even if it's preventive dentistry or service management or any kind of population statistics, you will be eligible either for pursuing, of your post-graduation, either in community oral health or epidemiology, or you can go into any kind of research pathways which is there in the thing. Okay. Again, like I said, overviews most of the entire world, right? The global, you notice that there is a clear-cut distinction. Again, there's public health, which is fairly developed, and the dental component to it. Okay, so this is just to give you an idea about how this whole structuration is actually done. Okay, so that's just to give you an insight into what actually is required. Okay, now all of that basically means that you have to make sure that you are curating your particular profile accordingly. Okay, so don't believe that your degree, okay, which is a broadly bachelor in dental surgery, okay, that just equips you with your skills. Going back to my very first slide, okay, you've gained the knowledge, you got the skills, but then you need to eventually go out and demonstrate your capabilities. Okay, and that is where a lot of residency programs and all of these things eventually come. Okay, so when you look at all these kinds of possibilities and avenues, right? I have like a very simple way of demonstrating this. I'll just show you a chart. I think you'll be able to get an idea of this. Okay, now look at this chart. Okay, let's spend some time here. Okay, now traditionally, okay, for a flow chart for any career in dentistry, okay, if you look at it starting out from a dentist, where okay, you could just practice, a lot of you would be inclined towards it. You could go into private practice, you can go to independent practice. Okay, you go into private practice, you go into hospitals and chains. Okay, in independent practice, either you do group or solo. Now coming to post-graduation. Now in post-graduation, we have a distinction of a degree, which is MDS in public health dentistry. Okay, now there predominantly you're having your teaching, where you can again go into practice and accordingly. Okay, or you can even pursue your post-graduation. Now, in the country as such, after your MDS in public health dentistry or even BDS with community knowledge, what you're having, right? You could apply for research and ICMR, and a lot of student research fellowships are possible. Okay. Now, if you go into the foreign, diversification after the part of it, look at the affairs which is there, abroad. Now, again, they do DDS. Again, they could do post-graduation, practice, teaching, fellowship, okay, under the NIH or FDS, or it could be in the Middle Eastern countries where you are teaching and practice, and various other options. You can also go out of the entire realm of dentistry and pursue civil services. Okay, your government jobs, all of these. For example, if you focus on the Army Dental Corps or health services or government railways, CGHS, they focus on your ability to make community-centered decisions. Okay, I've had the opportunity of facing. I did go and attend a lot of these interviews just to get the feel of it, just to know that what exactly we do. The major problem with dentistry in our country is the colleges do not teach you what is actually required for the real world. Okay, if you know about a term called employability, I'd like to introduce this term to all of you all. The employability of any dental graduate, okay, be it a BDS level or an MDS level in public health dentistry, depends upon your ability to put forth that what is required with the organizational objectives. Okay. For example, if you're working on a certain project, if there's a walk-in interview, research officers or program officers for the fluorosis project, or maybe some other kind related to the social welfare department in your own state, like in ODISHA, if there is a walk-in, most of the interview, they are looking for that. Okay, so you need to prepare accordingly for all of these things, and that is very important. And a lot of that comes from your community learning. Okay, through your interactions, be it in your camps, in your final years and third years, you would have learned a lot, but not understood that this is of valuable information for you to position yourself. Okay, position yourself in terms of how do I fit into the job perspective, how do I get the titular roles and able to evolve as a person through that. Okay, don't think a degree anywhere can get you a job. We do not live in that world. Okay, probably our parents and grandparents were fortunate where in presence of a degree, basically the nature of the work revolved around what was already taught. Okay, today the jobs are devised under the industry and they are more curated around what needs to be done. Okay, so if you have absolutely no idea of planning and evaluation or surveillance systems, even if you have a degree, okay, a basic degree where you can eligible or you can apply for, eventually in the interview, they don't find you good enough for that particular position. Okay. And this usually happens even in government interviews. It happens in most of this. Okay. There are very few jobs where they shortlist based on your marks. Okay. That would just be the post of a dental health officer in any of the community centers or primary healthcare centers across the country. Okay. So please understand that what you're actually looking for. Okay. In that direction, if you actually work towards that, you'll be able to understand. Okay. Now I got a little bit of information for public health dentists. Okay, for our students here, what can we do, sir, about that thing and all these things, right? So if you're wondering that what should you able to do, a public health dentist, okay, let's leave the obvious options, which doesn't exist for us anymore, which is teaching in dental colleges or go to the Middle East. Again, work, professor, principal, dean. So there is a normal curve. Okay, I'll tell it in statistical term. There is a normal curve, again, with its own perils. Again, if you're lucky to be within the first one SD, 2 SD, or still you can probably sail through, but eventually you won't be able to do. Okay, higher education, fellowship programs, practice, and government dental jobs. Now, if you look at other things, okay, what health in terms of combination, let's just break this up. Okay, let's call it public health professionals. Okay, because a lot of organizations recruit people with a public health degree, with a background in public health degree. So MDS students, who are presently first and second and third year, they can go into diversification of the whole process. Okay, either go into NGO jobs, go to diversification of public health in itself, which can be the role of an activist, can be the role of a health informatic professional, could go into hospital administration, any of the economists which are there, right, which are public health related. Okay. Now there are such strange jobs in the market that you would actually roll on the floor laughing if I tell you that. Okay, that there are people who are positioned just for allocation of funds. Okay, and that is related to public health programs. So they require you with a public health degree. Okay, so they don't need the rest of what you bring in. So don't think that you can take the whole bucket of knowledge or the services and go and sell yourself eventually to everybody. You can't do that. Okay. Essentially, you have to corner down on what you are good at and what they're looking for, or more importantly, what they're looking for. Okay. A lot of the jobs of epidemiologists, okay, that's because you're trained in this. Statistics, of course, statistician, a lot of healthcare management. Okay. You won't believe it, right now in COVID situation, the city corporations are literally pandering and looking for people who can just manage. And they have come to such an extent that now they're recruiting students on basic internship levels, that they want people to manage the home consultations, to manage the allocation of beds, and all of these things. So when you look at all these things, there is a lot of diversification which comes with your public health. So if you think you being a public health dentist कि सर हम क्या ही कर सकते हैं, टीचिंग के अलावा और कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं है, तो बहुत कुछ है यार. मतलब अब जब तक तुम अपने अंदर झांक के नहीं देखोगे ना, तो पता नहीं चलेगा कि what you're capable of and what you can fit in. Okay, and nothing is going to be tailor made. Okay, we live in a challenging environment. Remember, because of the information outburst, what is accessible to you is also accessible to everybody else in your class, right? So it all brings down to how you position and you identify. A lot of research institutions, right, they look in and they come. Now these are where you go and seek. Okay, probably how you seek for jobs would be an altogether session some other time, but let me tell you that make sure you are fishing out there in the proper seas. Okay, understand what you are working for. Okay, and this is just a special note of mention for the postgraduates, because it's essentially is very, very important. Okay, so when you look into all those kinds of diversification and all these things which are going in, right, let's just give you let me just share with you all, for example, some institutes which I have. Okay, who are there and who are working with a lot of institutes. It could be either in terms of for example, a random newspaper advertisement you come across and you see, okay, the Tata Institute of Social Sciences is looking for, all right, so you can get into kind of integrated MPhil PhD program or directly after your postgraduate. Now the headings under which you could apply is public health, health systems management. So already there is a laid down classification. Okay, first and foremost, come out of the world of only dentistry. Okay, neither are we fortunate nor are we blessed enough to practice in a standalone environment. Okay, when we understand that we need to integrate and work with many other things, automatically your job opportunities are going to keep on coming up. Okay, so once you notice all of these things, choosing academic careers, all right, be it research fellowships or any kind of associate kind of positions what you're looking, you need to make sure that you read in detail and find it out. Okay, so there are many campuses who provide public health. For example, the PHFI, the Public Health Foundation of India, right? They provide a lot of training. So these are your add-ons. Okay, let me tell you, way back in the year 2000, I remember my brother who had just completed his who's completed his engineering degree from a college, right? Bangalore being the Silicon Valley, and of course Avinash sir is also familiar because he's also from Bangalore. So this whole place of IT boom which had happened. Okay, now all that they wanted was students with a basic background of engineering. Okay, now quote unquote, they were not required to engineer something. Now engineer something is a very big thing, that you're creating or being a part of a process of development over something in the long run. Okay, what they needed was people who were equipped with a few basic skills. A lot of engineers, completed courses and flocked to Bangalore. And again, at the same time, Hyderabad was coming up, Pune was coming up, Gurgaon was coming up. If you look at that phenomenon at that point of time, essentially the industry drove the kind of way advances dentistry did. Okay, so once you notice that people coming here, they had a lot of top-up courses. Okay, the reason I call that top-up courses is because now ab data khatam ho jata, you have a top-up, right? So you perform certain skills. Okay, now even taking up certain courses after your BDS level or after your MDS level, okay, depends on what industry you're looking for. So it can be 3-month course, it can be 6 months course. Don't just think that everything is clinical in nature. Okay, all of dentistry is clinical. There is the good old option that you can always go back and practice, and there is enough scope for private practitioners, of course, in the country. Okay, even at this space, it's just how you position yourself. But when looking for add-on courses, make sure that you find out what areas it encompasses. Okay, in terms of equity, in terms of health informatics, in terms of economic progress, a lot of institutions which are already forming the essential fabric of our country, and you guys are fantastically positioned in a wonderful, I would call KALINGA Institute of Social Sciences as a marvelous social experiment, because that is a classic thriving example of how an ecosystem can function with so many varied options. Okay, so you are already present in an ecosystem where you could do a lot. All that you have to do is you have to connect the dots. Okay, once you connect the dots, you'll be able to go in detail, and then you're able to function. Okay, so don't think कि BDS के बाद क्या scope है. Okay, अभी तो लोग बोल रहे हैं कि सर MDS के बाद क्या scope है. Scope हमेशा से था, बस यही डिफरेंस है कि तुम्हें आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा कि मैं क्या चीज में अच्छा हूं, एंड हाउ यू हैव टू डेवलप इट, बिल्ड अ पोर्टफोलियो फॉर योरसेल्फ, वर्क इन दैट डायरेक्शंस. ओके, नैरो डाउन आफ्टर BDS. If, of course, I would definitely tell everybody to do post-graduation, even if you do not get an opportunity or anything of that sort, work on the aspects which community training has given to you. Okay, your 3 months of training and internship, your final year, your third year, so many hours you've spent interacting with people, trying to understand them, trying to take care of their oral health. So as a basic dentist, as a basic dental professional, you're already able to do so many things. Okay, it's just that you're not looking for the perfect job and perfect opportunity. So once you start looking, I would say that once you start swimming in the right waters, eventually you will go and able to succeed in that direction. All right, a small mention, Avinash sir. Am I shooting time, or I have a couple of minutes?
No, you can continue. You have time.
Okay. All right, great. Sir. Okay, I have something light towards the end because I don't want to burden the students with a lot of information. So I have some pleasing slides also, not only data filled and everything. So I think I'll just go there. Okay. All right. Now let's come back to essentially, public health dentistry, and how do we look and identify these things. A lot of things which you are already getting training for. So let me go to the last part of my presentation, which is called Perspectives of Dental Public Health. I tried to package everything into the limited time available here. So let's just have a walkthrough. Okay. Yeah, is my screen visible, sir? All right. Great. Okay. So I'd like to end with perspectives, right? What exactly public health dentistry gives you. And most of undergraduates who are listening to this, don't think this is not relevant to you, because whatever I've said so far applies to each of you, all right? Each of y'all in terms of what exactly are you looking for, all right? So there are certain perspectives and certain opinions, okay, what public health dentistry actually gives you. And today, on account of National Public Health Dentistry Day, I think I just want to take out a lot of the gist, you can say. You have the textbook, right? You have everybody reads our Sopan Peter textbook, Essentials of Public Health Dentistry. This is something, the essence of public health dentistry, which I would be mentioning here. All right. Now, empathy is a core skill. Okay. You might dismiss this as a soft skill, saying that, okay, you are empathetic to people and all these things. The closest you could get with the patient, okay, the human connection, which in fact makes all of us humane, okay, is our ability to emote and to respond. Okay, placing yourself in someone else's shoes, the basic nature of empathy, right? The ability to understand that itself, hugely, determines how successful you are in future. Okay, so this is one of the skills. Try to learn and grab as much as possible through your interactions, through your community training, throughout your third year final year internship. And for postgraduates, I think they would be normally subject to all of these things. Okay, so empathy is one kind of response what we have here. Second is social consciousness. Okay, I think this is why all of us choose this profession. You don't have to have an MDS in public health dentistry to be a public health dentist. Let's understand this, okay? Each one of you today is everywhere, somewhere in some corner of your heart, you are already inclined towards the society, okay? Because we don't inhabit, the world as a standalone molecule. I would put it this way, that all of us are atoms with consciousness. Okay, atoms with consciousness means that you are aware of your surroundings. There is a willingness to do and help. Okay, so you being aware of that problem in the society. Okay, if it's dental caries or if it's COVID in this situation right now, or people recovering from any kind of condition, and especially when we see dental diseases being so widespread, you have to be conscious and aware of the problems. So this social consciousness in itself is an fundamental ethos for many organizations. Okay, if you're able to display this, if you're able to do that, it does give you a lot of advantages. Okay, and like I told you, a lot of your jobs for NGO and which could be a public service organizations, they look for people with a social temperament. Okay, this is where you need to actually work in that direction. Okay, then the concept of equitable. Okay, equitable, again, I think all of you, if you go back to your primary healthcare, you get this big word called equitable distribution. Okay, it's not about dividing the cake for everyone in equal portions. It's about giving more to the ones who are more hungry and who are in more need of it. Okay, you need to treat everyone fairly and in the same way. So distribution of healthcare services have to be essentially equitable. Okay, so you notice all those things which are going in this. Okay, now a lot of your talking about public health dentistry talks about prevention. Okay, now there was this old age concept that prevention is better than cure and all of these things. I think if we understand, and going by the classic example, how the second wave of COVID has hit everybody, I think if we paid more attention to preventive measures, I think we would have probably anticipated that in the coming. So the action of stopping something from happening or rising, a lot of preventive services is in fact like the only cure. Again, comprehensive nature of public health dentistry, which says that preventive, promotive, and curative treatments. Okay, so you're trying to include or deal everything. Now, automatically in public health dentistry, when you're in your internship, you will be doing, scaling, you'll be doing restorations, you'll be doing, dentures and all of these things. Essentially, you're giving comprehensive services, right? So the motto is not to go and provide everything only in one place. The idea is to be comprehensive in approach. Okay, you need to take care of the needs of the patient. Okay? And that is how you position yourself, even if you're an individual practice or if in an organization. So make sure these elements, I'm leaving you with a lot of words today, but I didn't want it to be more technical. So, I'm giving you these keywords so that you're able to deal with it. Okay. Again, educate and empower. There is enormous amount of, scope in this field. Okay. If you were that student who wrote a fantastic play in your college, right? And when you were in, you've given your role plays, or if you're someone who is chosen to give health talks among your own bunch of classmates and everything, that itself is a fantastic tool. Okay, the ability to educate eventually leads to empowering someone. Okay, so you could be an advocate in oral and public health issues. You could probably start off your own channels. Make someone stronger and more confident. Okay, especially enabling them to have a control over their health and oral health issues. Okay, so you could be positioned like that. And let me tell you that the world pays enormously for doing good deeds. Okay, and that's only because that you're able to evaluate, educate and empower an enormous amount of children in that direction. Okay, finally, to integrate and collaborate the various dimensions of health. Okay, because you receive a training in public health dentistry, you understand that you're bringing together the forefront multiple dimensions of health. Okay, either people or groups with particular characteristics or need, you are ensuring. So if you are placed position, okay, let's say in a place in your own city, okay, in Bhubaneswar or in Odisha, if you're working, you see that there's a lot of socioeconomic disparities. Okay, so it's about taking everything together, all right, and to make everything work together, you have to first integrate. Remember I said that you have to integrate the oral determinants with the public health determinants. Like that, the multiple dimensions of health have to be analyzed. Okay, so you could take up certain special professions where you're working on only this aspect. Okay, there are many social service organizations which give you a lot of details and all of these things. And finally, again, like I said, communicate and advocacy, because you need to have the ability to put forward your idea and perspective. Okay, and eventually, I just like to end with this small quote here, which says that no law, regulation, or mandate will improve the oral health, of the public unless the people in power, okay, policymakers and patients, and you at the center of it, the dentist, work together with a shared understanding that how oral health is important and its relations to overall health. Okay, so when you notice all this, continuum which is there, you are essentially the center of focus for all that is happening. Okay, and when you notice all of that, invariably, you notice that there is a very, very critical and there is a very significant link which is there. Okay, so that was a brief description from my side. I hope I may not give you much information in this limited time possible, but specifically the whole idea of the exercise was to make you think on these terms. On this occasion of National Public Health Dentistry Day, this was my little effort to bring to forefront that what you're already capable of and what you can actually do with an enormous amount of power and vigility which you have, right? So be it a third year student, don't underestimate yourself that what I can do, or maybe after you've completed your BDS, you're preparing for entrance, that what am I capable of. Okay, don't limit your options. Okay, they say that your success is directly determined or proportion to the effort you take on yourself. Okay, so the effort you take on yourself is when you actually work on the core areas of identifying that what you're good at and what you're not so good at. Okay, and today we see, remember I told you that little exercise, that what you're good at, what you're not so good at. Please do this as a small SWOT analysis. Go back today, and then specifically you can seek advice and guidance for what career option you want. Okay, if you want to remain in the realm of public health field, which is more than gratifying and rewarding, you can stick to that. If you're looking for post-graduation, you could do that. And even after post-graduation, after the multiple routine exercises, right? Now, I didn't want to give it too much PG oriented, because I knew that there would be a mixed cohort. There are specific things which you need to know, right? Until you fit the mold, nobody will deem you to be serious or pertinent for their organization. Okay, that is the whole essence of this lecture today. So thank you so much, Avinash sir and all the faculty members and the amazing people there at KALINGA Institute of Dental Sciences. A big shout out. I have amazing memories of coming to Bhubaneswar. That was my first conference in the year 2016 when I just completed my post-graduation, and I still have vivid memories. And I think by now, by my slides, you would have noticed that I'm someone who likes to click a lot of pictures. So I had amazing memories of Bhubaneswar, and that really stretches me. And I'm so happy today that I'm glad that you all invited me for this session, that I it sort of rekindled back everything back from then. Thank you, Avinash sir. Thank you all the faculty members, the wonderful PGs who are managing and orchestrating this, and the management as well. And KALINGA Institute of Social Sciences. I mean, I have gone through a lot of case studies and everything, and I was very eager, and I'm loving to, looking forward to actually visiting there very soon. Everything can settle down, and together, yeah, I think we're committed to one shared vision, that we need to make sure that dentistry is for everyone. All right. So in my closing statement, I would say public health dentistry is something which is dentistry for the people, of the people, and by the people. Right. Essentially, each one of you is a public health dentist. You don't have to think that I don't have an MDS, I don't have enough training. Each of you is equipped with so much of power, so much of amazing potential, and so many opportunities out there. And invariably, you are part, becoming part of the bigger ecosystem in solving the issues at power. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Denzi, for your kind words and a wonderful presentation. This is very wonderful. By the way, I think the host forgot to mention that Dr. Denzi is, as you have heard him now, is a very good orator, and he also runs an organization called PhD 101. I think the final years and the PGs know about this, where he interacts with the students. He invites different lecturers or different specialty persons to talk about some particular topics, and also he invites people who after their BDS or MDS have ventured out into other than the mainstream public health dentistry or other than mainstream dentistry, who ventured out into other options of like job opportunities. So he interacts with them, he invites them for a guest lectures or to share their experience for the benefits of other students. He's doing a wonderful job, and he has a great database on what somebody could do post dentistry and post MDS. So he was the apt person for this occasion. Thank you, Dr. Denzi. It was a wonderful. And also he very nicely told for the undergraduates what competencies or skills you need to learn when you are doing your dentistry and why is it important. Like you're studying about surveillance, you're studying about epidemiology. When you are studying, you might be thinking, why do you need all this? Where does it help? So this is where how nicely Dr. Denzi told us that for your life skills, to improve your life skills for your job opportunities, the word he used, employability. All these skills are required for you. The next was why public health dentistry as a master's. Public health dentistry, one is it's a comprehensive clinic. You learn the clinical, so after that you want to pursue your clinical practice, so you can do public health dentistry. You're trained in all specialties more or less, so you can do your clinical practice. You have many jobs now, especially as for public health background. Now with all this pandemic and stuff like Dr. Denzi pointed out, they require public health background. So it's pertinent that you have a public health background for your jobs. There are so many vast opportunities as a public health dentistry. Thank you very much. It was nicely said. So I would like to ask the students if you have any doubts or anything, any queries, that you are most welcome to ask Dr. Denzi. We have time for that. Any questions?
Yeah, dear students, I think any of you all, if you have any kind of doubts or anything, let me just put down my email ID as well, so that in case if you want to write to me, you can always come back with specific queries, because I didn't want to go into too much of technicalities, specific job opportunities. I do have a lot of websites and links and all that. So the reason was I wanted to give you an overview and keep this a little light-hearted. So let me just share my email ID here as well. Okay. So I think anyway, if you all want to write to me, I've put it in the chat box. You can always go ahead. And talking about people with different and diverse backgrounds, let me just tell you, through the journey of Public Health Dentistry 101 in the last 1 year, I myself have discovered a lot of fantastic and amazing people with a public health background, who are public health dentists. Okay. I have a friend of mine who's actually developed an app all by himself, which is very similar to a Facebook application for dentists called Densing. That is a public health dentist. Then I have an amazing friend who just released a short film in Kerala. He's a public health dentist. And let me tell you, I'm not even close to oral and perioral tissues here. I'm very far off from that. Okay. And a couple of friends, who've cracked the civil services after dentistry. All right. So there is plenty of opportunities. There are songwriters, there are people in the movie industry, YouTube content creators, and social media influencers. There is so much, guys, which is out there in the world. Right. Remember that everything out there is there for you to conquer. Only all that is required is actually already present with each of you. Okay. So yours be the world and everything in it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Denzi. It's always fun to listen to your talk, to your session. It was a very informative interesting and interactive session. And as we all know, Dr. Denzi is an eloquent speaker, dynamic speaker. And he discussed about, there's a lot of ambiguity regarding our field and regarding the scope of our subject, you know. So I think he highlighted on those aspects of public health dentistry, the newer opportunities and the newer avenues that are opening up. And like he said correctly, now public health dentistry is not the same as it used to be a few years back. Diversification is the key word, and there are a lot of opportunities apart from academics and research that one can venture out for. And I hope, because this was more of a UG audience, undergraduates, I think you would have got a clearer picture by now of regarding the department and regarding the field and the opportunities that it can offer to you once you pass out or once you opt for post-graduation in this subject. So thank you, Dr. Denzi, for accepting our invitation and for the interesting talk. Thank you very much. I'll also like to thank our founder, sir, for giving us this platform to observe such an event. Our assistant director, sir, Dr. Pathi, sir, for always being so encouraging. Our principal, sir, Dr. Balaji, sir, Balaji Manohar, sir, for addressing us. Dr. Dhiren, sir, for being supportive in conducting these events. Our HOD, sir, Dr. Avinash, sir, all the faculty members, Dr. Vinay, Dr. Gunjan, sir, Dr. Sovesh, Dr. Arpita, the department PGs for coordinating and conducting this. It was their initiative, and all the undergraduate students and other postgraduate students who participated in this program. Thank you very much. And with this, we'll conclude the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Denzi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. All of you, stay home, stay connected, and wishing everybody a very, very happy Public Health Dentistry Day. So there's a very little you could do sitting in the confines of the home, but then that's how you could view it. Okay, there is enormous amount of work which you could do from your homes. So little take home exercise for all of you all. Please go back, introspect, spend some me time and alone time, and work on your strengths and opportunities and threats, and then design and then take this forward. So thank you so much, Avinash sir. Thank you everybody for giving this opportunity. So we'll see you all very soon. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.